Welcome back to the ABL review for the Champions League. This is the Week 5 episode. I always have a little bit of trouble kind of like jumping into the week, but this week we have a very smooth transition into something very exciting, and it's our first sponsor. So here we go. From the creative genius behind the Life Orb jingle and the Stance Change theme comes a brand new record full of songs nothing like that. Homesick by Ricochet the Kid is an album full of bops, bangers, and janglers that'll leave you saying, this actually wasn't half bad, and this is a little too earnest for my liking. The album comes out July 10th and will be available exclusively as Target as soon as they agree to that. If not, DM Logan for a CD and he will staple one to a bird and get it to you. Most importantly, the album release show is August 1st at the Loving Touch in Ferndale, and many prominent ABL members have committed to attend. And Logan will cry if they don't. So come out August 1st to the Loving Touch in Ferndale to experience a triumph in mediocrity, sure to leave you saying, eh. Also, please stay on until the end of the episode. I'm going to be playing their new single that was just released today, June 12th, called Nelson Cruz. So it would mean a lot to me if you take the time to listen to that and support Ricochet the Kid in any way you can. Links to Spotify and Instagram will be in the description of this video. Thank you all, and we can get into our first game of the week. So, as usual, I've got my game leading off here against Zane. I have had a hell of a time in this offseason trying to predict what teams people are going to bring. I'm constantly wrong, and it ends up making some really, interesting things. Let me pull up on the side here what I thought was going to be here. I thought for sure Mega Chesnaught was going to be here. It checks Palafin real well. It checks Excadrill really well. So I thought those would be here. I thought King Gambit would be here to deal with the Mega Frostlass. And then Clefable just seems like a staple on most teams. So I was very much prepared for that. Didn't really expect to see this squad roll up. It's not like I didn't plan for them, but I'll get into some of my prep here in a little bit. So, leading off with a Hydrapple, I just feel like this has the best matchup against most of the mons on the team. Not too scared of Rotom. I'm just going to go ahead and fire off a Fickle Beam here, hit the incoming Skeledirge for pretty good damage. And I know that he can't KO me back, so I'm just going to try to get off as much damage as I can. And I do luck out and get the 1 in 3 chance that we go all out for the attack, and are able to take out the Skeledirge. In comes Garchomp now. Garchomp, I know I'm holding a Habanberry, so I can take a Dragon move from it if I have a little bit more. Like, if he's Dragon Fang Outrage, I can't. So I kind of have to figure out what he's going for here. I don't really want to risk switching into Excadrill, but Gourgeist Small was here for Chesnaught, and Chesnaught's not here, so now it's perfectly safe for me to kind of risk Small Gourgeist and get the Regenerator boost going here. And awesome thing about Gourgeist is I get to frisk the Choice Scarf, figure out what we're dealing with. It's going to make playing around this Garchomp a lot easier, and plus I know none of his other Pokemon can have Choice Scarf now. So Dragon Claw does quite a bit of damage, but that's okay. This is expendable. So I'm going to go ahead and fire off a Moonblast. This is a fully special Gourgeist to try to beat a Chesnaught. Plus, it's got really good special coverage. Because we also see the Flamethrower come out here. It does good damage to Rotom. Grab a Lucky Burn and dodge a Will-O-Wisp. I'm getting really lucky early on in this game, which is making it a lot. I can play a little bit more risky. So now I can just go for Shadow Ball, just in case he wants to come in. And I'm not too worried about showing off my set here. As soon as Samurot's going to come and try to get up hazards, I'm going to be able to hit it with a pretty strong Energy Ball. I don't think that crit mattered. I think that probably KOs me, regardless of my Colbur Berry. But at this point, I know that this isn't Choice Scarf. The scariest thing he could be is Aqua Jet. But either way, I'm just going to go for a Rapid Spin here and get rid of the Spike and get the KO and put myself in a good position. It draws in Garchomp. Garchomp's the only Pokemon that can come in here. And I know he pretty much has to go for Earthquake. But he does, the other thing he can do, makes a really smart double switch and goes into Starmie. Awesome play by Zane here. And yeah, that he's got to start playing a little bit aggressive to get back in this game. So I obviously can't stand because I'm predicting an Ice Beam to come out. So I'm going to go into Palafin. Palafin doesn't have a good matchup against the remaining Pokemon here, and I don't want to switch into anything else because nothing else has a good matchup. So despite me being baby mode Palafin, I'm Toshinori Palafin. I'm just going to go ahead and go for Wave Crash, get off as much damage as I can. And honestly, I do way more damage than I thought I was going to do. He does get a Rapid Spin, which does suck, because that means I can't bring in... I don't have... Actually, I don't remember what my Scarf... I don't think I have a Scarfer. So, normally I probably would have gone into Frostlass just to kind of scare this out with Shadow Ball. But that's no longer an option. I'm going to have to rely on my second option. You'll see this in a little bit. But he's going to follow up with another Ice Beam, and he does get the Freeze. And it's funny, because at this moment I'm just like, oh, I haven't learned the new Freeze mechanics well enough. I don't know when I get thawed out. I think it works like the old Sleep does. Like I burned turn 1 there. I'm going to have to do a review of that at some point, because I don't recall exactly. If I'd gotten this off, I mean, we'll see here. He's going to go for a Power Gem. Obviously, a little bit more damage. I do manage to hold on at 1% there. Go for a Wave Crash. So if I hadn't gotten thawed, he'd be at this mount. I probably just would have Jet Punched on the following turn, got him down even a little bit lower. I don't think it would have KO'd. How did that first Wave Crash do 42 and that second one did 34? What wild disparities. But, you know, Palafin did what it needed to do here. Now we're going to go here into Toxicroak. He correctly scouts the Sucker Punch. Well done there. But I know I can safely go into Hydro Apple. Earthquake's going to come out. And I can just go for Giga Drain, hit one of his Mons in the back, get Starmie. That's the biggest threat to my team currently. So I'm happy that's gone. Garchomp's going to come out, and I'm just going to be able to eat up this Dragon Claw with this Haban Berry. Go for a Fickle Beam, get rid of that. And now, this is... I could have maybe thrown this away. If this is a different set on Blastoise, I am in big, big trouble here. If this is like Hydro Pump, Ice Beam, Earthquake, I probably lose. So, we get the Shell Smash going off here. I went for Leaf Storm because Giga Drain would not have KO'd. So... I was like, okay, if he Shell Smashes and I Giga Drain and then he clicks Ice Beam, he can still sweep me, so I need to hit this Leaf Storm. I missed the Leaf Storm, but he ends up not having Ice Beam, just Dark Pulse. Thankfully, I don't get flinched there. And I'm able to hit the follow-up Leaf Storm and come away with a win. So, despite it being a 4-0, this is a lot closer than it should have been between me starting off with really good luck and then... him putting himself in a position to potentially sweep with Shell Smash late in the game. I think it was big. I don't remember if it's Mike or... Mike might have mentioned it to... No, I think it actually might have been Zane who mentioned it to Dakota, who then in turn mentioned it to me. Not a lot of electric types in this meta. Electric types are kind of a staple of draft teams. You just have a strong, fast electric type. Your Thunderouses, your Tapu Kokos, Jolteon's a popular one. That's why Rotom's so popular. I think that's a staple of draft teams, just to be able to Volt Switch, and we've seen water types do really well in this off-season event so far. So something to look out for in the next drop of Pokemon that we're hopefully getting next week when Pokemon Champions comes to mobile. I'm hoping there's more electric types kind of balance out this meta a little bit. So that's the first game. Move on to the second one. Oh. So we've got Mike versus Zhang. Zhang's having a tough go with things. We're going to hop into this here. We've got Glamora leading off against Cleavor. Opens up with a close combat. Now this, like, so first of all, I think that's automatically Choice Scarfed, right? Off the bat. Just trying to get as much damage as you can. And you don't see the Toxic Debris come out. So this is actually Corrosion Glamora, probably packing Toxic for that Corviknight. In which I think is probably a good call. Beedrill's a grounded poison type, could have just soaked everything up. And we're going to go for Power Gem, get rid of the Cleavor right away. Mike's immediately up 1-0. We're going to see what this Beedrill's going to do. As long as he's not going for Fell Stinger, I don't think Mike cares. But Drill Run picks up the KO. No good switch-ins to Beedrill, so he just kind of had to let this go down. We're going to follow up with Starmie, Mega Evolve, Aqua Jet's going to KO Beedrill. Beedrill's a really cool Pokemon that I like a lot, Mega Beedrill is. Regular Beedrill, not that cool. It's a Pokemon I like a lot, but it falls over to almost any priority. I think like Choice Band, I think I've calced it before, someone can double check me. I think Choice Banded and Fernape like 2-hit KOs Beedrill with Mach Punch. So any physical priority is going to knock this guy in his ass. This is just Aqua Jet Star me able to do it. Weavile is, on the other hand, going to be able to stand up to a... Uh-oh, did I lose? Okay. Weavile is going to be able to stand up to an Aqua Jet quite nicely. My screen went black there for a second. That's why I freaked out, but it looks like the recording's okay. So we're obviously going to get a switch out here into Tinkaton, and we're going to see a U-turn. Turns out it's not Weavile. It's the Hisuian Zoroark, and it's actually going to pickpocket the Focus Sash from Hisuian Zoroark, which is pretty big. Meganium's going to come out. So something that I really haven't given enough attention to that I really want to talk about is Zeng, sorry. Your name's phonetically similar, so it's difficult sometimes. Zeng's actually packing 3 Megas on his roster, and he brought 2 of them to this game, and he Mega Evolved Beedrill right away. So this Meganium is basically now a no-item Meganium. Can't Mega Evolve, it's just rocking with what it's got, but it's honestly quite effective here. So we're going to see the knockoff first, get rid of that Chesto Berry off the Snorlax. Then he's going to fire off a Leech Seed. Trailblaze comes out, gets the speed boost. That's pretty bad news. I'm not sure why the Trailblaze. Let me pull up the rosters here on this side. What would that have been for? Oh, hold on. I'm looking at the wrong team. I mean, I guess it's pretty decent coverage against things just like, you know, something to hit Greninja a little harder, Politoed, Basculegion. It's actually, no, I was going to say it's Diggersby also. So I would say maybe that's what it was for. Grass coverage does relatively good against Zeng. So that must be why he's packing it. But this Leech Seed and the Trailblaze is going to be difficult to break down Meganium, especially with seeing the Substitute come out here. So this Meganium is just going to be trying to wear down this Snorlax as much as possible. But, I mean, you guys saw the Chesto Berry. What comes with the Chesto Berry is invariably Rest. And we're going to see the Rest pop here. Good job trailblazing on that previous turn. It was enough to break the sub, and it allowed him to be faster and actually get off this Rest. Mike doing a very good job of being cognizant of his speed tiers there, because, like, Crunch does more damage, but getting the speed boost to be able to outspeed this Meganium, because otherwise he's susceptible to being crit on this Giga Drain, which we see come out. Oh no, we just see him substitute. So Zeng wouldn't have even been able to take advantage of that. Tinkaton's going to come out. As you can see, so there goes the Focus Sash that it had. Stealth Rocks are going to go up. He's not really scared of this Meganium. What I'm surprised not to see come out here is either... like if it was Infiltrator Chandelure, maybe that was his Scarfer. I don't think we end up seeing. But or Serena. Meganium can't get any recovery if Serena's out, and if it has Triple Axle, you can actually hit through the Substitute. So I don't really love that Mike is just kind of PP stalling essentially here. But also smart move by Zeng to go out to. Oh, never mind. This must be Mirror Armor Corviknight, because we don't see the pressure pop. So it's either Mirror Armor... Oh, no, Unnerve also would have popped. So this is Mirror Armor. Does Mike have an Intimidator on his team? Yes, he does. Crocodile. So that's what that was there for. But also Zeng ends up getting the matchup here on that double switch, having Corviknight in. Brave Bird's going to do a lot of damage to this Chandelure, but obviously going to have to scare out the Corviknight. This Weavile is going to come in, but look how little damage it takes from rocks. You know what that means. It's going to get cooked by this Flamethrower. Hisuian Zoroark goes down. At this point, Zeng is really falling behind. He doesn't have good options here. I'm also curious about the Psycho Cut. Psycho Cut, I guess, is for a theoretical Heracross that could come. But attacking the Pokemon that Mike has... knockoff was just as good as anything. So I would have imagined we'd see that. So I'm not really sure about the Psycho Cut. maybe just a crit chance. But Meganium's going to come out, eat a Gigaton Hammer, and it's going to try to do what it's been doing and just go for Leech Seed and Substitute and all that jazz. But Serena's going to come out. So Serena loses the leftovers, which is unfortunate, but it is going to have to, it's going to force it out with the aforementioned triple axle hitting this Corviknight, keeping it kind of low, but it's not going to be enough to take it on here. So Tinkaton's going to come out again and knock off this Corviknight's leftovers. I kind of, at least try to. I'm getting ahead of myself, I guess. This Meganium staying low, that Gigaton Hammer is going to be enough to take it out this time. Knockoff from Tinkaton as we get the body press. Corviknight, now there's no leftovers. I kind of, in hindsight, I think Mike should have probably just clicked Stealth Rock again in front of the Corviknight, just so that way he'd be able to steal the leftovers with Pickpocket. And then Body Press is going to come out, going to be able to hit KO the Snorlax, but that is going to allow Mike to kind of safely deal with what's left here. Flamethrower on that, and then he's also going to let the Chandelure go down here, so that way he can bring out his Mega Starmie, which now at 2 rock switch-ins, Weavile is able to be KO'd by Aqua Jet. So, Zeng is still kind of like, I think he did a lot of experimenting with his team this season, is I think what's become obvious to me here. It's a really fast team, it's a really offensive team, but he hasn't really found the right flow with it, and that's becoming apparent in some of these matchups as other people have kind of gotten a handle on what their team is supposed to be doing. And Zeng, I think, is still kind of struggling to find his spot with the team. And, there's only 1 week left, so it's going to be hard for him to find his spot, which we'll talk about the final week. After our marquee match of the week.
Marquee match of the week. Now we have a theme.
Marquee match of the week is, I did it again, is Dakota versus Ishii. I'm actually going to pause for a second here, take a drink because my mouth's getting dried out. Okay. Thanks for bearing with me there. So we got Dakota versus Ishii, and let's just hop into this. So we've got Umbreon lead versus Rotom Wash. Volt Switch on the Umbreon, obviously not an ideal match for the Rotom Wash. Bringing in Fortress. Now this is obviously to discourage any sort of Toxics or anything, or if something's going to be Toxic is really all it would be, and maybe a foul play or something goofy, right? So we get it into Fortress to block that. Delphox is going to come in, another slow switch initiative thing for Dakota. He's going to move around his, he's going to switch his Fortress out. Then this Meowscarada is also going to U-turn. Dakota's only done switch initiative moves so far. But now he's activated the weak armor on the Skarmory. This is tough. I get it and I don't. I get it because this is a Skarmory that now, can offensively threaten Meowscarada, but I don't think it's good against most of the other. Let me just double check Dakota's team here, make sure I'm not talking out my ass. This is not a Skarmory that threatens Mamoswine, nor is it a Skarmory that threatens Conkeldurr. It's a Skarmory that maybe could set up on a Mousehold had it been there, but regular Skarmory beats all those Pokemon anyways. And it's not like Rotom Wash has come to every game of Dakota's. It'll probably continue coming to all the remaining games that Dakota plays. So I don't really love the bring of the offensive Skarmory here. Now, this is, I think, very important for Dakota. I am a big proponent of, especially early in the game, calc literally everything. Okay? We're going to talk about why. So I'm gonna pull up over here. I don't know Dakota's set, but we can work together here to learn this. So let me pull up the damage calc here. Let me make sure we're framed up for that. We're not even in the slightest. How do these look? That one looks okay. So Hisuian Goodra. So I've already done a little bit of work on this. So we just saw Volt Switch do 7%. So we're assuming Rotom Wash is not bulky. Dakota would have this information for sure. Okay, so this is not offensive. This is a non-offensive Rotom Wash. It can do 7% to a fully Spadef Gudra. Okay, what if this isn't a Spadef Gudra? What if this is like Adamant, Max Attack, no Spadef investment? Volt Switch can't do 7%. So Dakota could also theoretically, I don't think he is, but he could be offensive. But the only way to get down to that 7% mark is if this is a not offensive Rotom and a Spadef Hisuian Gudra. So that's how that number makes sense. So based on that calc alone, I think we can assume that this Hisuian Gudra is max Spadef. That will be important later. Okay, back to the battle. So we got the Volt Switch. Charizard's gonna come in. Now, when I was watching this game live, this is exactly what I wanted Dakota to do. I'm just like, okay, Gudra's run Draco Meteor, Heavy Slam, Knock Off, maybe Earthquake, stuff like that, even Power Whip sometimes. I think this is, if I was Dakota, I probably would have brought in my Charizard and tried to set up on this thing. I would have been wrong. Dakota makes a really good play here, and he's like, let me scout. Let me make sure nothing goofy's happening. He's going to go into Fortress, and Rock Slide comes out. So, awesome catch there. Now, again, we can calc this. I'm not going to. I guess I will. Well, let's again assume Fortress is like a standard Fizdef Fortress, and it's got, we see Earthquake, so I'm going to load that in there just initially. Rock Slide did 13% to Fortress. This is interesting. Hold on. Rock Slide. So maybe this isn't max defense Fortress. Rock Slide. There we go. So that's how it can do that much. We'll keep an eye on this because we're going to get a little bit more interaction here, okay? So Curse is going to go up, right? So now Earthquake comes out, does 25%. That's actually quite a bit. This is +1 defense. Oh, so this is probably Spadef Fortress, is what I'm guessing then here. So that's probably what we're looking at. So that's the Earthquake. Now, I also was initially really annoyed with Dakota for not having Body Press on this Fortress. Body Press does a lot more damage. I'll show you in the calc here. Body Press, even from a Spadef Fortress, is doing 30% min to a +1 Gudra. But I get why he has Earthquake. It's to cover for a theoretical Gengar. If it had been here, it does more damage. Also, if Delphox comes in on it or something before it's Mega Evolved, does a little bit more damage there. So I'm not going to hold that against Dakota. We're going to get another Volt Switch out here. Does 2%. Let's make sure that is consistent. Yes, 2%. So it looks like our calc that we've built is correct. Reuniclus is going to come in as another Curse goes up. And we're going to see a Shadow Ball come off and do 15%. I'm sorry, this is so much calcing. Oh, and I keep forgetting to change this out, but you're going to have to bear with me. Let's assume this is max special attack. And let's throw a Shadow Ball in there. Shadow Ball. Okay, that adds up. So yeah, I think we can safely say at this point that this is the spread that we're looking at. Shadow Ball is actually going to get the Spadef drop, which is pretty good. Iron Head's going to do 73% damage. Let's see if that's consistent with our calc. I say Iron Head? Yeah, Iron Head. Wow, so this is not even... This got some offense. Oh no, this is get rid of that. Get rid of that. So that could have been a max roll on a fast Reuniclus. maybe a little questionable. But also, I mean, this could also be an offensive Hisuian Gudra, but based on my calcs, I don't think so. Somebody one of the people in this can inform me what was going on here. So at this point, this Gudra is becoming a big problem. We're going to get another Shadow Ball, consistent with our damage that we've been calcing. That Citrus Berry is going to bring it back up to 53%. Now, we see the Fortress come in here. Let's stop down right here. If I'm Dakota, first of all, Dakota has more information than me because he knows his sets. I'm guessing at his sets and trying to reverse engineer this, okay? If I'm Dakota at this point, I need to start looking for ways that I got to get past this. We've seen Ironhead, Curse, not sure what the last move is. Maybe we're guessing a Dragon move. Maybe we're guessing like Earthquake or something. But based on the stuff we do have here, I think we need to be looking at... Okay, so I know his Aegislash has close combat. Let's take a look at this and see Aegislash, Blade Form, I'm assuming Adamant, 32. Oh, hold on. Close combat. I think we need to at least look at this calc. 47 to 51. That's probably the first place I would be going to look. And also if he's got like King's Shield, maybe he can like play around that a little bit. Also, we don't know that he has knockoff. This is all we've seen so far. We don't know what moves he has. Unless he's got Earthquake or Fire Punch, then let's see. Fire Punch. Yeah, that guaranteed KOs, but if he's in shield form, has a good chance of KOing in shield form. Presumably Earthquake has a better chance of KOing him in shield form. Not going to look it up right now. I think Aegislash is maybe a look he should have taken. And I also did this beforehand, so I know that Charizard X, again, I know he doesn't know the whole set, but Charizard X is not KO'd by Rock Slide. This is just standard ass Charizard X, even at +2, not KO'd by Rock Slide. I think he needed to go into this and either like DD and Flare Blitz or like Earthquake. I think that's what he probably should have done in hindsight, because this Fortress obviously is not going to win this 1v1. All it's going to do is get you to learn maybe that last move. And goes for Earthquake, because at this point he's kind of hoping for a crit. Does a little bit of damage. Fire Punch is going to KO him. So now he knows the full set, and this Gudra is weak enough that Charizard can come in and KO it. I think he could have been more aggressive. I don't think he calced as much as he could have, because I think there were other options for him to explore than sacking Fortress and then bringing in Charizard. I think it probably could have been dealt with a little bit differently. Obviously, I have the benefit of like having seen how the whole match played out, but based on what I'm seeing, I don't think there was as much calcing as there ought to have been. So just that's my lesson here. So we're gonna see a Wish go up, playing very safe. Thunderwave's gonna go off. I'm also gonna talk about Thunderwave because I've made up my mind about Thunderwave and Champions here. Before you're Thunder Waving to kind of like, it's an investment, right? You're giving up a turn, hoping that your opponent is going to lose a turn later. Now with Thunder Wave, I think being just like, it's a 1 in 8 chance. It's a 12.5% chance that you're going to get that turn back. I don't see a benefit in Thunder Waving slow Pokemon. I feel like you just need to, like, Thunder Wave should be Thunder Waving fast Pokemon, because you're more likely to benefit from that. Thunder Waving a Pokemon that's already slower than you is, in my opinion, a wasted turn. Now granted, we're still learning the new mechanics. I'm not going to hold this against Dakota, but I'm just telling you my opinion, and maybe it will make some people think about this. So Toxic's going to come out, and the Wish is going to come true. There's no Rotom Wash in the world that can 1v1 an Umbreon. So he's going to switch out into Aegislash as another Wish goes up. I like the plays Dakota makes here. Swords Dance is obviously like risky because you know he's got foul play, but he lived, so it worked out. and then you can follow up with a close combat. That's great. I would have liked to see a play like that versus the Hisuian Gudra. Quaquaval is going to come out, and he actually has the Aquajet, so he is going to be able to out-prioritize the Aegislash, take him out. Quaquaval's in a great position now. Meowscarada's going to come out, obviously going to scare out into the Skarmory. This is, again, why I think just a defensive Skarmory would have been fine, because even with his speed boost, he's not able to take on this Rotom. It's just going to do another... Now it's a slower Volt Switch. Into the Delphox, and then we're obviously going to have the Meowscarada come in and go for knockoff. And this is Scarf Meowscarada going to be able to KO the Delphox pretty safely. Now Torkoal's going to come in. At this point, though, just knowing what I know about the battle, this is done here. The Rotom Wash, the Hydro Pump's not going to do very much damage due to the sun, so he's just going to get us off as much damage as he can with Volt Switch. Bring in the Mega Charizard X. As we see the rest go off in the Chesto Berry... Okay, no. I just wanted to make sure, because we saw Chesto in the last one, so I might have just been getting my wires crossed. Something to please keep an eye on, because you'll just keep everyone, like, make sure we're good. When you send the challenge, turn on Item Clause, just to be safe. We're playing with Item Clause. Obviously, nobody did double Chesto Rest or double life leftovers, as far as I can tell. But just something to make sure there's no slip-ups. I'd hate to disqualify somebody because if there's if there's a chance of that happening. So at this point, I think Dakota knows he's done. I don't mind this first Dragon Dance, but at this point, now he's just got to hope he crits. So you need to start throwing off attacks. If your solution is crit, you need to start attacking. So this second Dragon Dance I don't think was necessary. You had to crit anyways. Body Press is going to fully KO him. Now there's nothing left to be done. And again, this Thunder Wave, this is a Hail Mary Thunder Wave. This is, let me try to buy turns, but, doesn't end up working out. Body Press is going to KO it. And then nothing that Meowscarada can do to get past this. I'm going to go ahead and click Knockoff, even though Chesto Berry's already gone, and goes down. So, Ishii comes away with a win here. Second win of the season after beating Zheng last week. So what this does do is make some really interesting things happen over here on the standings tab, which I forgot to have up all week. Let me make that a little bit bigger. So here's the current standings. I'm at 4-0. Dakota's at 3-1. Mike's at 2-2. Ishii's at 2-2. Zane's at 1-3. And Zheng is at 0-4. Zane and Zheng mathematically eliminated from playoffs. Because I'm in, Dakota is the next highest number of wins. There's only two more teams that can get to 3 wins with this 1 week. Dakota has a tiebreaker over Mike. So Mike, even if he wins and Dakota loses, he can't overtake Dakota. So that's going to be no good. His only way of doing that would be if there's a 3-way tie, but he's playing Ishii, so only one of them can get to 3 wins. So here's the scenario. I play Dakota. I'm already in, but if I beat Dakota, then the Mike and Ishii game, Ishii needs to win and get in. Mike's just trying to play spoiler, right? If Mike wins, it spoils Ishii's chances. If Dakota wins, it also spoils Ishii's chances. Dakota can guarantee a spot in the finals against me if he wins this week. Ishii has a chance at finals if he wins this week, depending on Dakota losing. Mike's got no shot at getting in, neither does Zane or Zheng. So, that's where we are. I don't usually announce them just because of when I record, but couple small moves made. Dakota dropped, let me see if I can remember, Mousehold and Bastiodon to pick up Paldean Tauros and Lycanroc Day. Yeah, going into the end here, I could see why you'd want to make some adjustments to your team. I dropped Araquanid and picked up Blaze Tauros. Araquanid was not something I felt that I was doing enough of the things I wanted it to do, so got rid of it. That's where we are. I think that it's been a really good season so far. We've got no forfeits through the season. So I just, thanks everyone for a good season so far. We've got 2 of these podcasts left, and we'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Watching Nelson Cruz, I'm